So next, random numbers. So random numbers, there are two functions that you can use to generate random numbers: the rand and rand I. So rand gives you a random number, random decimal between 0 and 1. Between 0 and 1. So just going to be some random decimal between 0 and 1. Then rand E gives you, for rand E, what you do is you need to pass in a number, not enough input arguments. You have to pass in an argument, which is the maximum number that the random number can be. So if I pass in 10, whatever result is returned cannot be greater than this 10. So if the maximum now is 20, all the results that are returned cannot be more than 20. The greatest that they can be is that 20, and then the lowest will be 0. So you can also pass in a range. So put it in square brackets. The first number will be the lower number, let's say 10, and then the second number will be the maximum. So I'm looking for a random integer between 10 and 20, 14, 18, 18, 12, 15, 14. It's never going to be less than 10 or more than 20. Right, so that's rand and randy. So rand gives you a random fractional number, decimal number between 0 and 1, whereas randy gives you a random number that is not greater than the maximum, between 0 and the number you pass in, the argument you pass in. That's if you pass in a single argument, but if you pass in a range, that will be the lower and the upper limits of the returned random number. Alright, so finally, class. So all class does, it just gives you the data type. Let's use help so that you'll see. Help class. So class MATLAB function returns the name of the class of the object. Right. So you call it class and object. So let's take an example. X equals 3. X here is an integer, a number. And in MATLAB, numbers, the class of a number is double. Or the most common class of a number is double. There are other data types. So it just returns the data type of whatever argument you pass in. So in this case, the number here is a double, it's stored as a double. So you don't need to worry about it too much. So class 0 points is also going to be double. So just know that numbers are doubles by default in MATLAB. Then the very last thing, semicolon. So if you've noticed, for all the expressions and equations that we evaluate, immediately the answers are displayed, they are repeated to us, they are echoed back. Now, what if this was undesirable? What if you don't want that every time you declare a variable, then MATLAB spits it back to you? Right. So what you do is you add a semicolon to the end of your statement, and the answer, the output, is suppressed. So this semicolon here suppresses the output. Whenever you are creating a variable, instead of it echoing back the answer to you, it will evaluate, it will create the variable, but it won't spit it back to you. So now you can do x plus y, and the answer will come out. But these guys now, they don't have to echo back the answer to you every time you create the variable. Okay. So you could quietly do z equals x times y, semicolon, and then you can call z on its own. So the evaluation is performed, but the output is not echoed out immediately. Okay, so that's what the semicolon does. So the semicolon just suppresses the output of your evaluation. All right, so thank you very much for following along this lesson.